We all have that dream, right? The day you finally hit financial independence and you can, well, just stop. Kick back on a beach somewhere, binge watch every show ever made, just do nothing. It's painted as the ultimate prize. But what if it's not? What if the real price of doing nothing is actually way higher than any of us imagined? So, here's the big question we're going to tackle. What if this entire idea of financial freedom, being an escape from work, is just wrong? What if it's about something else entirely? This one question kind of turns the whole retire early movement on its head. All right, so to really get into this, we have to start by being super clear on what kind of financial independence, or FI, we're even talking about, because it's probably not what you're thinking. Look, we're not talking about people who win the lottery or folks who live on like $1 a day. We're talking about the FI that most people actually achieve through their own hard work, building up some serious earning power while living a pretty normal middle-class life. The key thing to get here is that this kind of freedom is built brick by brick. It's not won in a single moment. And that leads us straight into a really fascinating, kind of mind-bending paradox. The very things that get you to financial independence, that drive, that skill, make it almost impossible to just stop. So the popular myth is that FI is your golden ticket to drop out of the race. But the reality, for the people who actually get there, every minute you spend doing nothing becomes incredibly expensive. Think about it. When you're capable of creating a ton of value, choosing not to, well, that has a massive opportunity cost. And we really need to understand what's powering this whole thing. It's almost never about some tiny investment that magically balloons into a fortune. Now, the real engine is a powerful, high-value income stream. Your ability to earn, what we call your human capital, that's the foundation. Without a strong cash flow for most of us, the whole FI equation just doesn't work. And this is where it gets really ironic. This quote is talking about people whose one and only goal in life is to stop working. The whole point here is that very mindset, not finding any joy in what you do, having low output, that's the exact thing that holds people back from ever getting the momentum they need for real financial independence. So, what if you do decide to just opt out, to just stop? Well, the consequences are a lot more serious than just feeling a little bored. We're talking about a genuine long-term risk of making yourself completely obsolete. This brings us to a pretty grim concept that's been talked about lately: the useless class. And the terrifying part isn't being exploited by the system, it's being totally irrelevant to it. It's a state where you just can't contribute value anymore, and you become a redundancy in a world that's just moved on. And you can see how this happens. It's a slippery slope. It all starts with a simple choice. You disengage. But then, your skills start to rust. The world and technology keep moving forward, and your ability to produce anything worthwhile starts to shrink. And finally, you get to a point where even your motivation to try is just gone. This is such a powerful idea. It's saying the end result isn't decided by some external force, like AI taking your job. It's decided by an internal choice. The second you decide to stop learning, stop growing, to lie down, your path is pretty much set. And hey, the reverse is true too. If you choose to never stop evolving, that outcome is also a given. You're going to win, one way or another. Okay, I know, that was a pretty bleak picture, but there is a way out. And it doesn't mean you have to work harder. It means you have to fundamentally change how you see the entire game of work and life. I mean, this is the core problem for so many of us, right? If the finish line is the only reason you're running, what on earth do you do after you cross it? Or even worse, what if that motivation just isn't enough to get you there? You've got to change the game you're playing. And this is where a concept from the philosopher James Carse is so incredibly helpful. He talks about two kinds of games. Working just so you can stop? That's a finite game. The whole point is to win so it can be over. But there's another way to play, an infinite game, where the main goal is simply to keep the game going. So in this infinite game, your whole focus shifts. It's not about hitting some magic number in your bank account so you can quit. The new goal becomes about the process. Am I doing the right things? Am I growing? Am I contributing? This is a game you can play your entire life, and you never hit that empty feeling you get when a goal is reached and there's nothing left. I know this might sound a little bit abstract, so let's make it super concrete with a simple but really perfect analogy that captures this whole shift in thinking. That's it. That's the whole setup. Just imagine two people.
and they've got a big pile of sunflower seeds. The way they approach this really simple task is going to tell us everything about the two different games they're playing in life.
Okay, so check this out. Person A is playing that finite game. They're only shelling a seed because they want to eat the kernel. For them, the work is tedious, right? It's just a means to an end. They're trapped. But now look at person B. They're playing an infinite game. They actually enjoy the act of shelling. For them, the process itself is the reward. And here's the beautiful part. Because person B just loves the process, they keep on doing it, happily. And the kernels, the reward, they just start piling up as this effortless byproduct. They end up with a huge supply, not because they were obsessed with collecting them, but because they were focused on the activity itself. And this brings it all home. Real freedom isn't found when you stopped the work. To anybody watching, person B looks like they're toiling away 24/7. But inside, they've already achieved total freedom because they found joy and purpose in the process. By just redefining the game, they've already won. And so, that leaves us with one final thought. One last question for you to mull over. Are you playing a finite game, sprinting towards a finish line just so you can collapse? Or are you playing an infinite one, finding a process, a craft, that you can pour yourself into for a lifetime? The game you choose to play, well, it defines everything.
Smash like and subscribe.